Hey guys, it's Emily. Welcome to my first advent calendar video. Today we have Gibsons in Jumbo. I'm excited for this one because I think you might be able to get them in the EU. I got mine from a UK website and you can also get some of them in the States. I'll link whatever I can down below. They all retail for around $40. Higher or lower depending on where you're shopping, but I'm excited to share these with you. These are all 24-day advent calendars with around 50 to 54 pieces per day. The Gibsons one I'm excited for because one, you can make ornaments with it, and two, it's a bunch of different artists. I feel like sometimes when you're doing advent calendars, it can be pretty stale throughout the whole month because the images really doesn't change too much or the style doesn't change too much. So I'm excited to see all the different artwork that's in here. And then I also have two from Jumbo. Haven't really explored this brand too much, so I have two different ones from them, and we're just going to dive right into these. I'm excited for this one. I think all three of these today have a punch-out situation versus a drawer, so I don't know if you'll be able to do them year after year, but we're just going to take off this sleeve and look a little bit closer at this advent. I mean, I have a knife here. Maybe I'll just like help myself out. That way, hopefully I can save the box, but this one in particular, since you are making them into ornaments, it's a one and done situation. So it's not one you can like do year after year like some of the other ones I'll feature. Okay, not a Ziploc or anything, just a regular bag. And so I'm gonna take out a few different days. I'm not gonna do every single day for every single advent because that would be a lot. So I'm just gonna take out the first day, the last day, and then like a couple in between. And that's how I'll do it for pretty much the majority of these puzzles. I'm gonna have to open this up and try to find the glue in the ribbon. So let's do that real quick. I think they should have had like a little cutout spot so that way I could get it. Maybe it's at the bottom? Oh no, I ripped it here too. All right, this cardboard, very sensitive. Puzzle glue and ribbon is included to transform your creations in hanging decor. Okay, but where is it? Like, I don't want to have to dig through everything because the box is a very cheap cardboard, so it's really hard to get in there. Oh, okay, so day 2 is where you want to grab your glue, and they have a thing of puzzle pieces. I feel like that's weird. I think they could have had like a different punch out spot so that way I could get to them without having to take the whole thing out. So those are my thoughts on that, but let's try to see if I can get these back in. And then the ribbon is in day 3. Okay, so I'm gonna put the pieces back for day 2. I think they could have done that a little bit differently to make it easier. Probably just having like one punch out spot and be like, these are the things that you need to have to make this work. But you know, it's fine. I found them. Let's put this all back and grab the pieces from the other boxes. All right, now we have these two from Jumbo, from two different lines from them. We have this one, which I'm gonna mispronounce both. I don't even know if I wanna try. They're very popular. So this is the Wasgish, is that how you pronounce it? Calendar. And this one is the Jan van Hasteren calendar. My pronunciation is probably not the best. I probably said it 6 different times in this video, but I'm excited for both of these. I know this brand is like what you see is not what you get, but I don't know if I'm really gonna be using much of an image as it is. So let's just open up this one first. And I'm so excited. It said open here. Perfect, I will. And this one is also a punch out option. So if you want to use them year after year, you can try to be very delicate with the box. You can try opening it from the side. I typically just put them all in little Ziplocs and have a big giant box I've kept over the years. So now like when I want to do a little speed puzzling run, or if I just want a little gift to throw in, I just have a box of like all these little teeny tiny puzzles, which is kind of fun. So you can do it that way, or again, you can try to be gentle with the box. So this is what it looks like inside. This is fun. Okay, there's a poem in a few different languages. I'm not going to read it here, but that is something to take in mind if you want to know what is happening here. So there is like a storyline element to it. That's kind of fun. I always like that because if it's something that you're doing with children, it might be fun to do as like as a family thing. So again, I'm going to take out just a few days, definitely day 1. Oh, this one has a nice Ziploc in here, and the puzzle pieces look nice. So we have days 1. I'll do 15. I think I'll just take 3 from this one. So I'll take day 15, middle of the month, and then I'll take is day 24, which might give a spoiler if it's part of a story, so just giving you a heads up on that. This one is like an apartment building, and I'm not quite sure what its story is. I'm thinking there's supposed to be some type of information in the inside, but it looks like something is happening at this apartment building, and I think when I was reading it online, it's kind of like you are seeing that person's like Christmas celebration. I think that's what it is. This says behind each window, a delightful 54-piece awaits, ready to be completed in the joyful days leading up to Christmas. Immerse yourself in the heartwarming holiday preparations of the families, and as each day brings us closer to Christmas, you'll uncover fascinating insights into the lives of all these charming characters. Cardboard on this one seems a lot better on the cardboard on the Gibsons one, but that one also, it seemed nice. I just think it could have been better. I don't think it'll be as beat up as some of the other ones that I've done. Now that I have all of my puzzle pieces, I'm going to be doing all these puzzles, and then at the end I'll also try to glue a couple of these guys from Gibsons, which I'm going to be very honest that I don't glue my puzzles all that often. I know there's a lot of tricks to it to make it work better. We'll try it out, definitely give it a go, and we're just gonna get into puzzling. We are starting off with the Jean von Husteren puzzle by Jumbo. All the pieces come in these Ziploc bags, which are numbered, which is nice if you want to know which day was what. And then the puzzle pieces are really, really nice. They are a matte piece. They have a beautiful finish and coloring. And then on the back of the pieces, they do all have a different pattern for each day. This first puzzle was really fun because it was like a bathroom scene or like a child and a father playing make-believe. And what I love about these images, as you'll see throughout the ones I do, is that each one is supposed to be what the festivities are happening behind the curtain in the apartment building. The 3 that I did all had very different scenes and coloring, and alone they could be their own individual puzzle that was full-size, but they put a lot of detail in these little small puzzles, which I really appreciate. Each one took me about 4 to 5 minutes, so not a huge time commitment, and the fit of these puzzles was great. Like, I really don't have anything negative to say about the quality, about the images. I loved all of them, from both this advent calendar as well as the other one, the Wash Jig advent calendar. One thing I did notice is that all of the puzzles do have the same grid cut, so that doesn't matter of which of the jumbo sets you did, every single puzzle was the same. That didn't bother me at all, but I did want to just let you know. Now, this puzzle that you're seeing me do here is from the other set, which is supposed to be all of the scenes from when Santa delivered items by a parachute, and it seemed like a lot of them had some very interesting experiences. This one here is a little donkey scene. Some of the images were pretty funny. Overall, I just loved the artwork from either of these, so it really just depends on which one you prefer. I loved both very colorful, quality is great, and really have nothing negative to say about these puzzles from Jumbo. Next up, let's go into the Gibsons advent calendar, which do not have Ziploc bags, they just have regular plastic bags, but if you're going to be making the ornaments, you don't necessarily need to package the puzzle pieces up afterwards. The pieces are quite shiny. And for this one, they are standard size, but you'll see in the second and the third puzzle that I did from this line is that they were of more of a miniature size puzzle piece, so something to consider if you have someone who has some gripping issues. They are all shaped puzzles, so this one here is a little present, and then the other 2 that I did were stars. I like the fit of these puzzles, which is really important because if you're going to be gluing them, you may have to maneuver them around or maybe flip them upside down, which I tried to do here, and it was completely fine. Maybe 1 or 2 pieces fell off, but overall it did have a decent fit to do that type of maneuver if that's what you need. One thing I did appreciate about this advent calendar is that it does have 24 different artists. You have a different artist each day, which makes it really fun because for me, sometimes when you're doing advent calendars, they can be a little bit repetitive if it's the same artist every single time. But I like how this one, every single puzzle will be completely different. And there are a variety of different shapes for the different ornaments. So I just happened to have 2 stars and a present, but they also had a few other options as well, depending on which date that you get. After I completed the puzzles, I wanted to try a couple methods to gluing the puzzles together because I'm someone who really hasn't done that too much. So I wasn't sure which method I wanted to do, and they didn't really give instructions. So I just tried to do it on my own. So the first step that I did was try to glue it on top of paper first and then glue on top as well. So kind of like a double layer, just because I was worried that doing the glue on just the top or just the bottom was not going to be enough to keep it secure. So my first method was to use the glue that they provided to adhere to a piece of paper that I just happened to have. It took me a while to get used to using the little applicator that was with the glue. It was very hard and stiff and didn't really bend at all, so you had to use it at a different angle to make it work, but I did eventually get a hang of it, and after I glued the back, I flipped over the puzzle pieces and then did glue on the front as well. Again, I was just worried that by itself it wouldn't be enough to keep it together, so this is the first method that I tried. Worried it was going to be streaky. I definitely noticed some streaks while I was doing it. Here's what it looks like currently. And now move on to the second method, which is me just gluing the front of the puzzle pieces as is, not gluing to paper, and really trying to see what it would look like if I just used the glue on one side. Would it be enough to hold it as an ornament? I was hoping this way would be a lot easier because I didn't have to deal with the other piece of paper or cutting it at the end, so I was just trying to see if it would work on its own. And then finally, I wanted to try it as a puzzle saver just for time purposes. If you didn't want to wait for things to dry or didn't want the mess, I tried to use a puzzle saver that's just from Buffalo Games to make the ornament as well. So I tried 3 different methods just to see which one would work best, and then waited a while for all the glue to dry. So here is what this one looks like, which is the one with the paper on the back. I did have to cut around it, and it did look okay. It was a little bit warped, but it did hold up really well. The second one is the puzzle saver, which did work, but definitely did not seem very secure. I felt like the pieces were gonna fall out of it. And then actually the best method was just the glue on its own. It was actually way sturdier than I was expecting, so that is the method I will be continuing to use throughout the month with the rest of the puzzles. It was easier and it caused less mess, so works for me. Here's what they look like on the tree, super cute, and just a little fun little bonus craft that you can do in the holidays. To finish off, I want to give you my final thoughts on these puzzle advents. First up we have is the Gibsons one. The packaging, there's a lot to be desired. It's already looking a little beat up. It's going to be ripped and torn to shreds by the end of it, but I'm not really going to be keeping the packaging afterwards because it's going to be ornaments instead, so I don't really need it to redo for next year if you are going to be gluing them and keeping them together. I think it's kind of fun to have little ornaments, a little keepsake. You could definitely gift these if you wanted to, and they're nice little ornaments. I do think just using the glue on its own was the best method, and they're cute. I also like how there's a bunch of different artists and designs, so each image was very different from the others. I like that they're shaped puzzles. In general, really liked it. Packaging, you know, it is what it is, but I did really enjoy the puzzles themselves. Next up, we have the 2 from Jumbo, which I loved both. The quality was fantastic as far as the pieces go, and the image and the artwork. Like, I feel like they're all their own standalone puzzle, which was really fun. I like how both are a concept. So this one here, where it is the different scenes inside of the apartments, and what I also think was really fun, just like an extra little, I don't know, a little bit extra thought that they put into it, is that the shadows that you see, or the silhouettes that you see through the windows, is actually like a little bit of a clue of what's behind it. I really like the artwork. Again, all very different scenes. I love the matte pieces, so this one I really enjoyed. And I also really enjoyed this one as well, which is how Santa is seeing down below, and they're all the delivery stops that he is making. And I just like how they both kind of have a concept to it, a little bit of a storyline. Also that all the images are very different from each other. So I'm excited to explore both of these as I continue on with the season. The boxes are nice, and yes, they are the punch out situation, which isn't my personal favorite, but I do like how they aren't really beat up. You can definitely do it again next year if you took good care of it. So that is it for today's advent calendar video. I'd love to know which one of these called out to you the most. I'm excited to share with you some more throughout the week, so make sure to stick around. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Bye guys!